দর্শক শ্রোতা, স্বাগত জানাই সবাইকে আমাদের এনআরবি টেলিভিশন আয়োজিত আজকের এই বিশেষ অনুষ্ঠানে। আমি তাসমিনা খান। আমাদের আজকের আয়োজনটি হচ্ছে অ্যাংলো বাংলা ক্যানেডিয়ান ক্যান্টিকলস। এটি একটি ভীষণ ভিন্ন ধর্মী একটি আয়োজন এবং এই আয়োজনটি আমরা করছি এখানে ক্যানেডিয়ান মিউজিক সেন্টারে। সুপ্রিয় দর্শক শ্রোতা, আজকে এনআরবি টেলিভিশনের পক্ষ থেকে আমরা যে আয়োজনটি করেছি এটি বলা যায় যে এমেরিটাস পোয়েট লরিয়েট জর্জ এলিয়ট ক্লার্কের 22তম প্রজেক্ট, মানে একই ধারার 22তম প্রজেক্ট। এই প্রজেক্টে আমরা অত্যন্ত গর্বের সাথে জানাচ্ছি যে জর্জ এলিয়ট ক্লার্কের এর আগে আরও 21টি প্রজেক্ট ছিল একই ধারার, সবগুলো ছিল শুধুমাত্র ইংরেজিতে। আমরা আজ অত্যন্ত গর্বিত যে প্রথমবারের মতো এই মেইন স্ট্রিমের এই আয়োজনটিতে 150টি সমসাময়িক ভাষার মধ্যে বাংলা ভাষা এসেছে। ইংরেজির পাশাপাশি প্রথম বাংলা ভাষাকে অন্তর্ভুক্ত করা হলো মেইন স্ট্রিমের এরকম একটি আয়োজন। এই যে ইংরেজির পাশাপাশি 150টা ভাষার মধ্যে দ্বিতীয় জায়গায় বাংলা জায়গা করে নিয়েছে, সেই বিষয়টি সম্ভব হয়েছে। আমি সবসময় যেটা বলে থাকি, আমাদের টরন্টো বাংলা কমিউনিটিতে আমাদের সাহিত্য যোদ্ধাদের পায়োনিয়ার যিনি, সেই সুব্রত কুমার দাস, লেখক এবং গবেষক সুব্রত কুমার দাসের আয়োজনে এবং উদ্যোগে জর্জ এলিয়ট ক্লার্ক এবারই প্রথমবারের মতন একটি দ্বিতীয় ভাষাকে চয়ন করেছেন। সেটি আমরা গর্বিত যার জন্য সেই বাংলা ভাষা। তো বাংলা ভাষায় এবারে 10টি গানের মধ্যে 5টি গান পরিবেশন করা হবে, যেগুলো প্রত্যেকটি এসেছে 5 জন ক্যানেডিয়ান কবির লেখা ইংরেজি কবিতা থেকে। এই আয়োজনে আজকে যেভাবে আমরা সাজিয়েছি অনুষ্ঠানটি, সেটি হচ্ছে 5 জন ক্যানেডিয়ান পোয়েটের কবিতাগুলো থেকে গানে রূপান্তর করা হয়েছে এবং সেই গানগুলোর মধ্যে 5টি থাকছে বাংলাতে এবং 5টি থাকছে ইংরেজিতে। Hi viewers, welcome you all to NRB Presents Anglo-Bangla Canadian Canticles program. I'm Tasmina Khan here hosting the arrangement. This is a really different arrangement because this is one of a kind. So like our Emeritus Poet Laureate George Eliot Clarke is very famous and very known for this kind of arrangements. We are very lucky that we are included for the first time ever. There are contemporary 150 languages around. But we are so lucky that in cooperation with our Subrata Kumar Das, this is the first time a second language is included in George Eliot Clarke's Peace Project. So the project is itself very self-explanatory. So there are 5 Canadian poets who wrote 10 poems, and those are converted into songs. In these songs, among these, 5 are written in English and then converted into Bengali. However, the other 5 are directly converted to music, Bengali music and English music. So there are 10 total. 5 will be sung in English and 5 in Bengali language. We are very proud to be included in such a great project. This is George's 22nd one. The previous 21 were just in English, but we are so lucky because George is with us, because our pioneer of the cultural and this literal movement, Subrata Kumar Das, made it happen in conjugation with George Eliot Clarke. So the selected 5 poets who were actually selected for these awesome poems that are now music are very renowned persons. So the selected 5 poets are Emeritus Parliamentary Poet Louis Bernice Huff, Poet Giovanna Riccio, George Eliot Clarke, and Subrata Kumar Das. So these are the 5 selected poets who gave us their amazing 10 poems. 5 are converted into English songs and 5 are translated into Bengali, and then these are songs today. And we are gonna celebrate, we are gonna enjoy, and we are gonna be amused with those all 10 amazing songs. These all songs are gonna be sung by our very famous, our Bengali singer. It's also a very interesting thing that Shamit Borua and his daughter Shreya Borua are performing all those 10 songs. And they are amazing singers. You will witness that very soon. Dear viewers, the translations of these English poems were done by different people. So like 3 of them were done, translated by Tasmina Khan, and then Subrata Kumar Das, he translated his own poem into Bengali, and George Eliot Clark's poem was translated by Farzan and Naz Champa. Dear viewers, we are very happy that we have here the great poet Monish Pal with us. Hi Monish Pal, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Yes, great. So we are very excited to have you here. So what brought you here, if you tell us something about that?
Oh, thank you for the question. So, really, I'm excited to be here today with all of you here. And the team is led by our great writer, Subrata Kumar Das.
Yeah.
And this is Anglo-Bangla Canadian Canticles.
Yep.
And I'm really excited to see what will be unfolding in about 15 minutes or so.
We are all excitedly waiting for the great musical event today. So we have 10
so we have poems
awesome
and
poems.
songs.
Yep.
Poems have been translated in songs and
Converted to music.
Yeah,
That's gonna be
wonderful.
awesome.
Yeah, I'm really excited, and we hope we'll have a wonderful time.
Thank you. Dear viewers, we are happy to say that we have more guests here and we are very excited to have them here. We have writer Jakaria Muhammad Moinuddin here with his family. So Jakaria Bhai, what brought you here?
When you're ready to start, and also when
Basically,
you
the famous poet George Eliot Clark. So I know that this is something going on. Written his poem that will be translated into Bengali as well, and some performer Bengali like Tasmina. So I would like to take opportunity, to come here to watch in person, so that we definitely will enjoy. It will be a wonderful evening today, I believe.
Yeah, of course. We are very excitedly waiting for the event to start. Dear viewers, we are very happy to have the writer Momo Kaji with us, with Tanvir. So, my question, hi Momo, how excited you were to join us today?
I am very excited. This is such an amazing event that I am glad to be a part of. Both of us, we are.
Great.
He's a music lover, and the fact that Bengali language has been recognized in such a big platform, that actually makes us very happy.
Awesome. So Tanvir, do you have any special expectation from this event today?
Music is magical.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be there. Of course, thanks for joining us. Dear viewers, we are so excited to declare that we have Richard Green with us today, professor of UFT, and he has so many amazing awards so far, like Governor General Award, right?
Yes,
awesome. Yeah. So, can you tell us briefly that what's your expectation from this event and what our viewers are expecting?
I've attended some of these events before, and it's a wonderful mixture of poetry and music, and full of energy, and people from different lives coming together and doing something special.
Yeah. I know it's a long journey of George and our Subrata Das. Like 1.5 year journey, and they planned so beautifully, and I believe that everybody is gonna be very happy today after the event.
I really enjoyed it. I think they're wonderful. And if anyone is tempted to come to future events, do come. You'll love it.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being with us.
A pleasure. Thank you for the welcome.
Hi viewers, here we have Usha with us, who was a performer in lots of George's previous events as singer. So I'm gonna ask her, hi Usha, what's your engagement with this kind of project and what is gonna be expecting today?
Yeah, well, firstly, I'm thrilled to be here as an audience member.
Okay.
Because it means I can sit back and enjoy the program. Usually when you're a performer, you've got other
always
anxieties and you want to please everything and make sure everything is perfect. Today, I can sit back and enjoy all that is to be. And being of South Asian heritage as well, I was born and raised in Sri Lanka. I think we have lots of similarities, but our differences are also
your name is
many. So
your name I can connect so well because we have that similar name so many.
That's right. And so being part of George's vision and the artistry, and I love the fact that he has set this platform for diverse musicians and audiences. And really, because music and poetry and the arts is a universal language, and I don't have to know the Bengali heritage or really too much about it in order to enjoy what's going to happen today.
Awesome.
So I'm really looking forward to it, and knowing George, he puts on some amazing shows. This one I'm sure will be, and my next one is next month on
Awesome.
May
Good
29th.
to know.
Yeah. So wishing you well. You look beautiful.
Thank you so much. We are
And-
very happy having you here with us.
Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to it.
Dear viewers, I'm very happy to introduce our writer and artist Syed Iqbal here with us. Iqbal Bhai, how are you feeling about the event?
Yeah, I am very good because this is great for Bangladesh community, the community, because this is rare things. We are all the time stuck in our Bangla town. And this is main stream in downtown.
Exactly.
And this is great thing, and this is done for. I am grateful to Subhato Kumar Das.
Of course.
He always the bridge, the Canadian mainstream to our Bangladeshi community.
Exactly. Yeah.
So today is maximum only Subhato is Bengali, or all are mainstream big.
Yeah, this is the
Already.
22nd attempt, and
Yeah.
previous ones were all only in English.
Yeah.
This is the first time ever Bengali is included here,
Yeah.
and we are so proud about it.
Yeah, this why this is rainy day and I stay home and hard coffee, but I came only for this thing because this is effort. Subhato Kumar is so much.
Yeah.
So must be any Bangladeshi poet lover
Yeah.
come to here.
Yeah.
And what do you say the title of?
This is Anglo-Bangla Canadian Canticles. Yeah.
Right. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having us with you and being a part of us and attending the event today.
Thank you.
Woo! Wow, that was so powerful. What a powerful opening. We're just getting started, by the way. I am George Elliott Clark. What a great pleasure it is to welcome you all here for this very special event this evening. Not only is it very special, it is historic. That we have this evening program. I want to send a shout out to everyone who might be watching on the live stream and so on. I'm very sorry that you can't be here, especially Pallavi Mozunder, who's the composer of 9 of the songs that you'll be hearing for the first time publicly tonight. That makes it historic. Very, very historic indeed. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Hi. And of course, Pallavi's in Saskatoon. And is really so thrilled about tonight's program. And I'm still getting started, so I'll just mention that this historic gathering this evening has had two beginnings. The first beginning was in December 2020, when I was thinking about a special Christmas gift for Giovanna Riccio, who's here at the very front of our audience this evening, and he was one of the poets that you'll be hearing from this evening as well. And I wanted to arrange a very special Christmas present for her for December 2020. And so I reached out to the great composer, another great composer, along with Pallavi Mozunder, and that other great composer being James Rolfe, and asked him to compose music for one of Giovanna's poems. And he chose the poem I wanted him to choose, and we surprised her on Christmas morning, 2020, the year of the pandemic, lest we forget, with this song made from her poem Namesake that was sung to her over Zoom. And seeing how thrilled and happy everybody was with that Christmas present, I decided it would be a very good idea to have more songs composed for more poets so they could experience the same kind of happiness, the same kind of delight, and so on that Giovanna experienced. And James was very, very happy to continue as well. And then eventually I was able to enlist the aid of yet another great composer, D.D. Jackson, based in New York City, originally from Ottawa. And so he's been composing songs in this program since 2021. And since then we've added Holly Arsenault, Eddie Bullen, all fantastic, all great, Emily Hiemstra, and Nivon Patrick, thank you so much, Juliette Palmer. Yes, and indeed, and I hope I have not left out anyone. It's been a wonderful experience working with these 8 composers since December 2020, and by now I have commissioned or co-commissioned 91 songs from mainly Canadian poets and one Chinese poet from the People's Republic of China. And I'm very, very proud of that, very happy about that, because I think that even though poetry, of course, is written in different languages, and we may not understand everything that we come across or see, and I have to confess, I do not understand Bangla, I cannot read Bangla, but I can certainly appreciate the music, and so I'm really, really glad to be able to introduce this program tonight. But as I mentioned, there's a second beginning to this program, and that really is, I guess I'll just put it back to last September. When I had attended a literary festival, the Toronto Poetry Festival, I believe, and made the acquaintance once again of the great Subrata Kumar Dash, and I knew he was interested in this program, and he attended number 18, which took place here at the Canadian Music Centre, the wonderful Canadian Music Centre, Halloween, and we had a great audience then, just as we have tonight. We had a great audience on Halloween night, and I was really thrilled that we had that audience because of the fact it was Game 6 of the World Series, and we had a lot of competition. But everybody who stayed home or went to the ballpark to watch the Jays was very disappointed. Everybody who came here left happy as all get out, right? So yes, let's say hurrah for the arts and for music and for poetry. But anyway, that discussion that Subrata and I had led to me asking him to suggest a composer that I might be able to work with to write music for English poems and then for the poems that are translated into Bangla. And he suggested Pallavi Mozumdar immediately. And I reached out to her. I looked her up online on her website and so on. I was very impressed by the music that I heard. And so I reached out to her, and I was very delighted that she said yes. And so she's ended up since September composing 9 songs for us, on average about one a month, and so one song each poet has 2 songs or 2 poems that have been turned into songs, and so one poem is in English and the other poem is in Bangla, and so also Subrata suggested when I was trying to find singers, he did not hesitate to also name Shamit Barwa and Shamit's daughter, Ashreya Barwa, as our singers. And I'm so thrilled to have you here. I looked at your bios. I'll be sharing your bios later. But they're just fantastic. They're just absolutely fantastic. World class right here in the Canadian Music Centre, which only offers world class compositions all the time, 24/7, practically, at least when they're open. And I also want to mention Thompson Hun, who's also suggested to be our pianist, musician of this evening. So I welcome you all, the 3 of you and your entire family, to be here tonight and for this great engagement. And I know I shouldn't keep talking. We've got to get on. We've got to hear the songs and so on. But there probably is more for me to say. But I'm going to ask Subrata to come up and say a few words of welcome. And I also want to underline just how important you have been in helping me organize, helping us organize this evening. So don't be shy. You're not shy anyway. Come on up, say a few words.
And thank you everyone for coming here today. And this is actually an idea which George has been practicing for the last 4 or 5 years. And we are happy that we, the Bengali people, are happy that for the first time, Bengali has been included as a language in this project. So we are very grateful to everyone.
Oh, wow, thank you. Wow, that was very short.
Okay, I'll be talking later on. Okay?
Yeah, you will be. All right, yeah, we're going to be sharing duties this evening. Okay. One other quick thing before we get started. There's going to be photography tonight. There is a live stream going on, so your images and your voices may be caught forever. And so as long as you're aware of it. So anybody who's unhappy about that, I'm very sorry, but you're about to enter into posterity. The other thing I should mention very quickly is this is the 22nd. Tonight is the 22nd 5 Poets Breaking into Song. And it started in May 2021. because after I started working with James and he had written 5 songs for 5 different poets and so on, including myself, I thought, well, and it was still COVID. It was 2021, so we were still going through lockdown after lockdown and so on. And I thought, we've got to present this music to everyone, right? It can't just sit in a computer or on our computers. It's got to be heard. It's got to be made public. And so the first show we did in May 2021 was done online, on Zoom. And we had an audience of 300 people watching online. And representing 5 countries and 3 continents. Amazing, right? And everybody and the chat was just so glowing. Everyone was so happy with this project, with this program. And so again, I thought, hey, this is so good. Let's keep on putting these things on. And so this is number 22, and I have not organized number 23 yet, but that's going to be on May 29th, Friday, May 29th. And more details will follow as we move on in time and history and so on. Anyway, yeah, it's almost 6:30, so it's better break into song right now. It is 5 poets breaking into song, so I'll just mention the first poet, and I'm going to ask Giovanna, if you don't mind. There should be a first page there that has the first page is what I need. All right, because the programs have very short bios, but I also have long bios, and I think it is important to share those longer bios with you as we get started, because I won't be giving the long bios later in the evening. So the most important bio to present at this moment are the composers and the singers, and also our pianist. So first, the composer. Pallavi Mozunder is an accomplished composer, lyricist, and singer whose work animates contemporary music styles via Indian classical ornamentation. Her songs Magic of Colors and Paint a Dream captured critics' ears, so she secured 3rd and 8th place in the songwriting contest organized by International Watercolor Society Toronto in 2020. She also holds an International Award for Outstanding Contribution to Songwriting and Composition 2020. Thus far in her career, Pallavi has written and composed more than 200 songs. Her 2 signal music albums are, I'm not going to be able to pronounce the Bangla, so I'll give you the English titles, are Birds of Green Feather and Songs of Rain. Both were released by prestigious Laser Vision Bangladesh Limited. In 2021, she co-wrote and composed a song, Shonar Bangladesh, to celebrate Bangladesh's 50th Victory Day. From Saskatoon, she directed the choral team. The song was released from Laser Vision Bangladesh Limited and launched by the Bangladesh High Commission in Canada on December 16, 2021, in celebration of the Golden Jubilee of Bangladesh Victory Day. She was born and raised in Dhaka, the capital of Bangladesh. She is tutored in both Indian classical music and, thanks to the famous singer Rizwana Chowdhury Bona, the songs of Rabindranath Tagore. She holds bachelor and master degrees in English language and literature. Her father, Dr. Sushil Kumar Dash, was the dean of the faculty at the University of Dhaka. He was her greatest influence. Studies completed, she taught for 4 years at a renowned English medium school, Sunnydale in Dhaka. Currently, she's an instructor with the Saskatoon Board of Education, helping to bring enlightenment to all of Saskatchewan in that position. And she also heads her own academy offering courses in Indian classical music. A round of applause, please, for Pallavi. Yes, Mozunder. I also want to mention our pianist. I'm going to ask him to stand up and take a bow as well, because I know we're going to want to applaud him later in the evening too. But Thompson Hun studied music performance and music education at Wilfrid Laurier University. Thompson has been for over 15 years the go-to pedagogue in serious music. Oh yeah, that's right. And from conducting music summer camps at Simon Fraser University in Greater Vancouver, British Columbia, to performing with student orchestras in Vienna. I love this. This man goes from Vancouver to Vienna, back to Vancouver, then to Vienna, and it's just Valentine's all the way, just to keep going with the alliteration. Plus, he leads music workshops and master classes in Asia. Thompson's music education devotion spans the entire globe. Thank you so much, Thompson, for being with us this evening and And of course, I almost forgot to mention, you run a music academy in Woodbridge, bringing to music and performance a unique blend of classical fundamentals refreshed by modernist accents. Yes. And now, a word for our singers. Shamit Barua is a highly versatile professional vocalist whose repertoire is a masterful blend of heritage and modernism, spanning the soulful depth of Bengali classics and the intricate poetic world of ghazals, to the vibrant energy of Indian music and the intimate grace of Western soft melodies. Schooled in a storied family tradition of television and radio legends, Shamit's foundation was laid by profound classical musicians. Having traveled the globe, he mastered performances in multiple languages. And his daughter, Shreya Barwa, is a vocal prodigy whose training spans the globe, from the prestigious Shankar Mahadevan Academy to Ontario's own Arcadia Academy of Music in Woodbridge. Her rare versatility allows her to master everything from the intricate ragas of Hindustani and Bengali classical to the modern nuances of Western contemporary. Her latest accolade was winning the top spot in contemporary vocal category at the 2025 Arcadia Music Fest. Congratulations! Yes, this is tremendous, terrific. And I have just one more bio to share at this moment. And that is, of course, for the wonderful Subrata Kumar Dash. And I know that he has a really lengthy biography, but he has given us a relatively short one to work with this evening. So before I invite him up to recite his poetry, I want to tell you a little bit about him. He's a writer and curator based in Toronto, Canada. He's the author of 31 books. 31! Wow! And he's born in Bangladesh in 1964 and immigrated to Canada in 2013. His Bengali books on Canadian literature have been hailed by the Bengalis living in Dhaka, Kolkata, and Canada. An initiator of Canada Journal, https://www.c-j.ca/ has encouraged a good number of Bengali writers and translators to work on the literature of Canada. So thank you so much for bringing our communities and cultures together. He's also the first initiator of the first website of Bengali literature, https://en.bdnovels.org/ in 2003. And so without any further ado, let's ask Subrata to get us started with his first poem, Meeting with a God, which is in English. And just a word on how we're working tonight. As the program will indicate, the first poem is whatever the poet chooses to read in English. And the next poem that the poet will read is the poem that is now that's now been scored, set to music. And then after we hear that first song, the poet returns to the podium to recite the poem in English that is now has also been translated into Bangla, and then we'll hear that song. But first, we'll also have the translation read by the wonderful Tasmina Khan. Yes. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, George, again. And as a poet, I have to read 3 poems today. 2 poems will be turned into song, music, and 1 extra poem for each poet. And the first will be that one which is not included in the music things. The name of the poem is I Am My Father. About 10 years ago, when I was foreseeing 60, one day I suddenly saw in the mirror that I had become my father. The same long face as his, the same proud nose, the fold beneath the brow, all bearing his clear shadow. A tumble of unruly hair clung to my head, just as he did. The image of my father that is imprinted in my memory is of his 50s. That picture abruptly stood before me in the mirror, and I could not at all understand how that man could be my father. He looks my age. But a long brood confirmed me, father is the man who comes first. So, my father's 50-year-old portrait didn't seem wrong to me. A 61-year-old. I could see my father in the man of the portrait. 34 years ago, one afternoon, at the age of 64, he had a heart attack. Just as one night, at 61, I had a heart attack 1 year before. At a remote village of Bangladesh, a doctor's hand couldn't reach my dad. Before the end of the hour, the whole market, all the surrounding villages, all the known and unknown people joined the grief. The sound reached far-flung villages and even was heard in the distant city of Dhaka in the late evening. At the end of a long journey, I discovered the yard of our house as my father's bed. Hundreds of faces around deeply saddened. I knew my father was gone, slipped into the hushed, uncharted tide, taking the one-way path where travelers never turn back. I stood on the shore, watching him drift, clear as the breaking dawn. Yet, though I reached for him, his gaze had already found a far, quiet shore, and he could see me no more. On the night of the 6th day of Durga Puja of 2024, Toronto's world-famous 911 took me out from my home and rushed to another world-famous Toronto general. In an instant, my bed turned into a towel. Something began to crawl through my hand and through the chest. I was feeling dazed, failed to understand what was going on, and in an intense whirlwind, I suddenly broke down. It seemed I was shattering the sky and the air, and the whole world came out of my mouth and flooded my long hair. I felt very sad, feeling my hair got wet, but no one came forward to clean the dirt. I don't remember for how long I had gone through the debris, but when my eyes could see, I saw a small girl's face. I saw in front of my father, my daughter was standing. Thank you very much. The next poem will be sung by Shreya, and before her, I'll read out the poem, and later on she will be singing. During my adolescence, I first encountered God. I longed for God above all else, or in some unknown chamber of my heart, and in every fiber of my being, I felt the presence of a God. In this mature age, when I see you, I can find my God. In every line of your face, in your eyes, lips, nose, and nostrils, in the arch of your brows, I see the shadow of a god's light. Your eyes, the brilliance of your gaze, your lips, the fullness of your smile, your chin, the tapering of your jaw, your teeth, and the hidden glimmer of your smile seem to awaken a call in that chamber of my heart, as if sitar plays throughout every fiber of my body. God blesses my mind and body, and I become immersed in His grace, as if the boy I was 4 decades ago calls out to me, carrying a statue of the Hindu god Mahadeva on my head. I dance and continue walking down the village path. Now, Shreya Borua.
During my adolescence, I first encountered God. I longed for a God above all else. In some unknown chamber of my heart, in every fiber of my being, I felt the presence of a God. At this mature age, when I see you, I see a God in you. At this mature age, when I see you, I see a God in you. During my adolescence, I first encountered God. During my adolescence, I first encountered God. In every line of your face, in your eyes, lips, nose, and nostrils, in the arch of your brows, I see the shadow of a God's light. Seem to awaken a call in the chamber of my heart, as if the sitar plays throughout every fiber of my body, every fiber of my body, every fiber of my body. Your eyes, the brilliance of your gaze, your lips, the fullness of your smile, your chin, the tapering of your jaw, your teeth, the hidden glimmer of your smile, seem to awaken a call in the chamber of my heart, as if the sitar plays throughout every fiber of my body, every fiber of my body, every fiber of my body. God blesses my mind and body, and I become immersed in His grace, as if the boy I was 5 decades ago calls out to me, carrying a statue of a God, Mahadeva. Dance and continue walking down the village path. Seem to again a call in that chamber of my heart, as if the every fiber of my body. Every fiber of my body. Every fiber of my body.
Thank you very much, Shreya. I think that she has done quite well. I never thought that my poem can be turned into a song, but it has been. Regarding this poem, our composer Pallavi Mazumdar, he has commented, meeting with God, a little complex composition. First verse is the lead verse, which repeats once at the end. Second and third verses are of same tune. The fourth stanza is completely different as it brings out more attention. The line at the mature age, when I see you, I see a God in you, unquote. This line repeats several times at the end. This is her comment. Okay, dear audience, my next poem is, I have never learned to write poetry. Actually, I wrote this poem in 2014. This was the first poem of my life. Yes, I had never been a poet. I don't know if I am yet. And at that time, I was 50 actually. I have never learned to write poetry. I know there are many references, etc., from the Bengali poetry, culture, heritage. But even then, I believe that you will be able to understand. I have never learned to write poetry, even though I have written heaps of prose. Poetry remains far away. In reading poetry, the diverse feel of rhythm has enchanted me. I have wandered through the alleys, searching for the beauty of poetry, just as the lover searches from morning to evening or past night until day. But I have never learned to write poetry. When Sunil teaches me to seek the fragrance in the bosom of Varuna, when I see my own reflection of love in Abul Hassan's, when I find myself raising a voice of protest while reading Ram Basu, when Subhash Mukhopadhyay turns February 21 into the key of freedom, I deeply desire to write poetry. I wish to experience the thirst of the purest poet, to cross the Atlantic with my head held high like Rabindranath, or to make Ravana a hero in an unimaginable splendor. I have been unable to do anything. I wish to write the Mahabharata in oral tales like Kashidasa, to reach 6 million verses on the human race and human mind, like the great poet Vedavyasa. So, today, I have sat down to write poetry, sitting at the feet of the oldest poet, Valmiki, at the age of 50. Thank you. As I am a Bengali, I myself have translated the poem into Bengali. And now I want to invite Tasmina Khan to read this Bengali translation for you. Tasmina is a registered behavior analyst and author of 5 books. Yes. Wow. Her work is recognized academically with a chapter taught in master's programs across North America. She writes poetry and short fiction on mental health and behavioral themes, and enjoying reading, translating, and critically engaging with popular North American writers' works. Tasmina Khan.
Yes.
Hi everyone, I'm very glad to be here today and I'm very grateful for your presence. The amazing pianist Thomas Horn was with us and he is with us till the end of the event today, and we are very happy that the sweet girl Shreya Barua, she performed so well, so we are looking forward to more and more performances from her and also Shamit Barua. So I'm just gonna read the translated version of Subrata Kumar Das. কবিতাটির নাম কবিতা লেখা শেখা হলো না আমার। কবিতা লেখা শেখা হলো না আমার। গাদা গাদা গদ্য লেখা হলেও কবিতা রয়ে গেল দূর পরপাশে। যদিও প্রাণের টান কমেনি সামান্যটুকুও। কবিতা পড়তে গিয়ে ছন্দের বিচিত্র অনুভূতি মোহিত করেছে আমাকে। অলিগুলি খুঁজে বেরিয়েছি কবিতার সৌন্দর্য। যেমন প্রেমজন খোঁজে সকাল থেকে সন্ধ্যা অথবা রাত পেরিয়ে দিন পর্যন্ত, কিন্তু কবিতা লেখা শেখা হলো না আমার। সুনীল যখন শেখায় বরুণার বুকে সুগন্ধি খুঁজতে, আবুল হাসানে যখন নিজের ভালোবাসার প্রতিচ্ছবি দেখি, রাম বসু পড়তে গিয়ে যখন নিজেই প্রতিবাদের হাঁক দিয়ে উঠি, সুভাষ মুখো যখন 21শে ফেব্রুয়ারিকে স্বাধীনতার চাবি কাঠি বানায়, আমার বড় ইচ্ছে হয় কবিতা লিখতে। ইচ্ছে করে শুদ্ধতম কবির তৃষ্ণার অভিজ্ঞতা নিতে, রবীন্দ্রনাথের মতো শির উঁচু করে আটলান্টিকের সাঁকো পার হতে, অথবা অচিন্তিত পূর্ব শোভাতে রাবণকে নায়ক বানাতে। পারিনি কিছুই। ইচ্ছে করে কাশিদাসের মতো শ্রুতি কথায় মহাভারত লিখতে, মহাকবি বেদব্যাসের মতো মানুষ আর মনকে নিয়ে 60 লাখে পৌঁছতে। তাই আজ কবিতা লিখতে বসেছি, আদিকবি বাল্মীকির পদপ্রান্তে বসে 50 বছর বয়সে। ধন্যবাদ।
ধন্যবাদ Tasmina. Thank you, Tasmina. And our composer Pallavi, she has commented on this poem. I Never Learned to Write Poetry is another complex composition. I divided the song into 3 stanzas. First stanza is a lead stanza. Second and third stanzas are almost same in tune. Last 4 lines follows the tune of last 2 lines of first stanza, and that is the speciality of the song. Thank you, Pallavi. Ladies and gentlemen, now I like to invite Shamit Barua, the great singer, to perform the Bengali edition of the song.
Well, I wanted to say something to the lovely audience before I start. Thank you for all the creators, and honestly, the last 4 weeks has been quite intense in terms of me and Shreya and our pianist Thompson. We really worked hard, and then I hope you are liking the way you see the output, the final output this evening, and we'll keep trying. And what I should say that all the energy that we have lost the past 4 weeks today, George, hearing your energy, the energy is all back in us, right? So there's nothing stopping us. So whatever we're doing, like you actually have a lot to do with it, right? Okay. All right, so I'll go. I hope you enjoy the rest of the evening. Thank you.
কবিতা লেখা শেখা হলো না আমার, কবিতা লেখা, কবিতা লেখা শেখা হলো না আমার, কবিতা লেখা। গাদা গাদা গদ্য লেখা হলেও
কবিতা রয়ে গেল দূর পরবাসে, যদিও প্রাণের টান কমেনি সামান্য টুকু। কবিতা লেখা শেখা হলো না আমার, কবিতা লেখা। কবিতা পড়তে গিয়ে ছন্দে বিচিত্র অনুভূতি মোহিত করেছে আমাকে। অলি গলি খুঁজে বেরিয়েছি কবিতা সৌন্দর্য, যেমন প্রেম জন খোঁজে সকাল থেকে সন্ধে, অথবা রাত পেরিয়ে এনে। কিন্তু কবিতা লেখা শেখা হলো না আমার, কবিতা লেখা শেখা হলো না আমার, কবিতা লেখা। ছুটিল যখন শেখার বরুণা, বুকে সুগন্ধি খুঁজতে বল হাসানে যখন নিজে ভালোবাসার প্রতিচ্ছবি খুঁজি। রামবসু পড়তে গিয়ে যখন নিজে প্রতিবাদের হাক দিয়ে উঠি। সুভাষ মুখ যখন 21শে ফেব্রুয়ারিকে স্বাধীনতার চাবিকাঠি বানায়, আমার বড় ইচ্ছে করে কবিতা লিখতে। কবিতা লেখা শেখা হলো না আমার, কবিতা লেখা। ইচ্ছে করে সমুদ্র কবির তৃষ্ণার অভিজ্ঞতা নিতে, রবীন্দ্রনাথের মতো শিরুচু করে আটলান্টিকের সাঁকো পার হতে, অথবা চিন্তিত পূর্ব শোভাতে রাবণকে নায়ক বানাতে। পারিনি কিছুই, ইচ্ছে করে কালিদাসের মতো শ্রুতি কথায় মহাভারত লিখতে। মহাকবি বেদব্যাসের মতো আর মনকে নিয়ে সাথে লাখে পৌঁছতে। তাই আজ কবিতা লিখতে বসেছি বাল্মীকির পদপ্রান্তে বসে। তাই আজ কবিতা লিখতে বসেছি 50 বছর বয়সে।
Thank you so much.
Wow! Yes! Daughter like father. Amen. That was tremendous. So beautiful. Both songs. We are off to a great start this evening. Wow. We now have to. I now have to read the bio for our second poet of the evening, who is Louise Bernice Half, otherwise known as Sky Dancer. And she was raised on I hope she's watching this evening she's also in Saskatoon. She was raised on the Saddle Lake Reserve and attended Blue Quills Residential School. She is married, has 2 adult children and 3 grandsons. She graduated with a Bachelor of Social Work from the University of Regina. She also completed 2 years of addictions counselor training at St. Albert's Netchie Institute, where she also facilitated the program. She served as Saskatchewan's Poet Laureate for 2 years. And she has traveled extensively for her poetics and to present at numerous conferences. Her books include Bare Bones and Feathers, Blue Marrow, The Crooked Good, Burning in This Midnight Dream, Sokeita, and Awasis, Kinky and Disheveled. And I hope that she'll forgive me for probably mispronouncing the Cree words. She has received numerous accolades and awards, including honorary doctorates from Wilfrid Laurier University, Thompson, right? Probably at the same time you were there. The University of Saskatchewan and Mount Royal University. She has also served as the 9th National Parliamentary Poet Laureate for the Parliament of Canada, the greatest government in the world. Well, sometimes. She also serves as an elder or knowledge keeper at the University of Saskatchewan and the Saskatchewan Health Authority. She actively participates in cultural and ceremonial activities relevant to her Plains Cree culture. And she lives in Saskatoon, which is, of course, in Saskatchewan. Now I'm going to ask the ever ingenious and charitable and intellectual and always forgiving, generally, usually, most of the time, Giovanna, to please pass me the book in the box. Under my man bag. It's under, there it is. Okay.
Is it this one?
Yeah, that's the one. Okay, sorry. Thank you so very, very much.
So happy to assist.
It's like The Price is Right for crying out loud. Sorry. All right.
Her name was Giovanna. Her
Okay.
daughter.
All right. Sorry. Anyway, okay. So I want to actually, I should not allow you to sit down, Giovanna, because someone has to read a poem on behalf of Louise, since she's not able to be with us. I hadn't really selected one, but I'm not going to ask you to read Der Poop, even though it's a great, funny poem about the Pope, and so on, and it's a great poem. So I think I'll ask you to read Crying for Voice by Sky Dancer, and that is her Cree name, Sky Dancer. So if you don't mind.
All right, well, here's an impromptu reading. Good evening, everyone. Lovely to see you all here. Thank you for coming. Crying for Voice. I must pull frog, pry its webbed feet from snails in my throat. Kneel, fold my hands, invite weasel to untangle my braids. Boil duck, rabbit, fish, scoop out brain, eyes, and tongue, roll them inside my gut. Pull out tapeworm, chop onions, grind peppercorns, fill the intestine with fresh blood. Boil Bible and tripe, clean off grass, boil and boil pebbles, bubbling soup. Suck marrow from tiny bones, fill the place where frog left slime and salted snails fell. I'm fluttering wind, tobacco floating against my face, mosquitoes up my nostrils, swatting memories inside marrow.
All right. Now, I will read the poem that is now a song, but the song has been composed by James Rolfe, who is unable to be with us this evening, although I hope he's also watching. I think he might be in New Zealand. I think that's the last thing he said when I exchanged messages with him a little while ago. So if he's in New Zealand, and I hope everything is going well, and that he might have a chance to be listening in tonight and watching this performance. Burning in This Midnight Dream is the title poem of Louise Bernice Half's, I think, second last book. But I got to give you James's bio as well. So, composer James Rolfe's music has been commissioned and performed by ensembles, orchestras, choirs, and opera companies globally, and recognized with a Guggenheim Fellowship, a Jules Leger Prize, and Dora and Juno Award nominations. His newest CD, Wound, Turned to Light, New Songs, which came out in 2023, is based on songs that I commissioned. Also, he has collaborated with me to produce our highly acclaimed opera, Beatrice Chancey. And so that's James's bio. And now I will recite the poem. But I'm going to ask Aisha to recite the next poem, right? Just so you know, so you're prepared. Okay. So here it is, Burning in This Midnight Dream. And it's basically the whole collection of poetry, Burning in This Midnight Dream, is poems about the residential school experience, which of course involved a lot of hardship and violence and cultural genocide, as a Commons Committee found in examining that grievous history. So I'm not sure who the speaker is in this poem, but the speaker is definitely commenting on the connection between X's and having to sign an X for those who were not literate in English, but the connection between the X and also the cross, given the fact that the residential schools were often run by churches, and often the people who were perpetrating the crimes that happened in residential schools were in fact persons of the cloth, men of the cloth, priests and ministers, preachers in general, and nuns, thank you. That's also true. And so she's drawing a connection in the poem between X's, the crucifix, the cross, and helping us to understand the interlocking nature of this oppression that too many indigenous children and people experienced through too much of the 20th century. Burning in this midnight dream. I dream I wore a skin of X's across my chest and down my torso. Granny prints of the midnight world. Thick lenses moved inside my skull, magnifying, but still I could not see. The X awkwardly signed by my great-grandmother. Another burned ink onto my skin for Treaty 6. X for the $5 a year allotment. X stitched for medicine, eyeglasses, teeth, and for school. X for every sin. X for moments of grace. The X's of a long paper chain wrapped this body. The tattoos beckoned me not to surrender, to wear a grisly cape, to dance until the sun's flames and moonbeams created passion inside my womb. I was earth, burning in this midnight dream. And now we shall... Sorry. Of course, that's for Sky Dancer and a marvelous poem. And now we shall hear the song Burning in This Midnight Dream.
I dream I wore a skin of axes across my chest and down my torso. Granny prince of the midnight world. Thick lenses moved inside my skull, magnifying, but still I could not see. The X awkwardly signed by my great-grandmother. Another burned ink onto my skin for Treaty 6. X for the $5 a year allotment. X stitch for medicine, eyeglasses, teeth, and for school. X for every sin. X for more. your chain, wrap this body. The tattoos beckon me not to surrender, to wear a grisly cape, to dance until the sun's flames and moonbeams created passion inside my room. I am earth. I am earth, burning in this midnight dream. Burning in this midnight dream. Thank you.
The rage, the sorrow, the recollection, but also the strength and the resilience of the earth itself that is being claimed in the poem, being claimed in the song. And so I thank Shreya for that wonderful, piercing delivery of this incredibly important song. And at the same time, I also want to thank Thompson for helping us along and helping us to understand the gravitas of this terrific composition. And now it's time to hear the second poem. And I'm going to invite Aisha Chatterjee to come up and recite it. And I'm going to give Aisha's bio. I'm going to give Giovanna's bio a little bit later, but here's Aisha's bio. So here it is. Aisha Chatterjee is the author of 2 poetry collections. Her work has appeared in journals across the world and been translated into French, Russian, and Slovene. Aisha is past president of the League of Canadian Poets and chair of the League's Feminist Caucus, and she lives right here in Toronto. And I just want to say very quickly that as soon as Trump is dropped from office, the United States should try to get Aisha and go from being president, past president of the League of Canadian Poets, being president of the United States of America, because I know you will do a much better job than anybody else. There we go. All right, so you're going to be reading.
It's kind of hard to actually follow that up with the actual person, you know. This is just me. But thank you so much. It's a great honor to read this poem by Louise Bernice Howe. So thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to do so. And it's called You've Got to Teach White Women Everything. I've tasted myself gooseberries, pin cherries, and rose hips rolled between my teeth, stretched till my bones bent and my breath was wind. I've tasted the tongue of bear, deer, and dog, left chamomile in the corners of my mouth. I've tasted the sweet drip of sea drying between my thighs, belly sweat breathing on my breast. I've tasted chocolate raisins on my spine, rolling raspberries between my toes, and the breath of swallows, feathers on my face. I've tasted till I'm swollen with sleep.
Yes! That Pallavi sent. You've got to teach white women everything. She says this song has 5 verses. First verse is the lead verse. Other verses start at low pitch, whereas lead verse starts with high pitch. Except the first verse, all the other verses are the same in tune. This song ends repeating the first line of the song. And now, Sorry, we also have to have Tasmina has been waiting for me to summon her back to the podium to do the translation. So yes, a round of applause, please.
Thank you for the opportunity. So the poem that I'm gonna read now, সাদা নারীদের তোমার সবকিছুই শেখাতে হবে। কবিতাটি লিখেছেন লুইস বার্নিস হাফ আর অনুবাদ করেছে তাসমিনা খান, which is me. ওকে, আমি নিজেই সেই সব স্বাদ আস্বাদন করেছি, গুজবেরি, পিঞ্চেরি আর রোজ হিপেরা যেথায় মেশে দাঁতের মধ্যিখানে গড়িয়ে তাদের টানতে থাকি, যতক্ষণ না আমার হাড়গুলো যায় নুয়ে নুয়ে, যেন নিঃশ্বাস আমার যায় বয়ে বাতাসেরই দেশে। আমি স্বাদ আস্বাদন করেছি নিজে, ভালুক, হরিণ আর কুকুরের জিভের, ক্যামোমাইলের মিষ্টি এক টুকরো বিষাদ এখনো তবু লেগে রয়েছে ঠোঁটের কোণে। আমি স্বাদ আস্বাদন করেছি নিজে, সমুদ্রের ফোঁটার যা নোনতা মিঠে, যা শুকিয়েছে এসে আমার দু উরুর ফাঁকে, পেটের ঘাম এসে ফিরেছে আমার তপ্ত বুকে। আমি স্বাদ আস্বাদন করেছি নিজে, মেরুদণ্ড বেয়ে নামা চকলেট কিশমিশের মিঠে স্পন্দনে, পায়ের আঙুলের ফাঁকে গড়িয়ে পড়া লাল রসালো স্বপ্নে, আবাবিলের নিঃশ্বাসে পালকের ছোঁয়ায় ভরে ওঠার সুখে। আমি স্বাদ আস্বাদন করেছি নিজে, যতক্ষণ না আমি বিভোর হয়ে উঠি ঘুমে। চলুন শুনে নেই গানটি।
আমি নিজে সেই সব স্বাদ আস্বাদন করেছি, আমি নিজে সেই সব স্বাদ আস্বাদন করেছি। গুজবেরি, পিলচেরি আর রোজ হিপেরা যেথায় মেশে দাঁতের মধ্যে খানে গড়িয়ে তাদের টানতে থাকি, যতক্ষণ না আমার হাড়গুলো যায় নুয়ে নুয়ে, যেন নিঃশ্বাস আমার বয়ে যায় বাতাসে বেশি। আমি আস্বাদন করেছি নিজে, ভালো হরিণ আর কুকুরের জিভে, ক্যামোমাইলের মিষ্টি এক টুকরো বিষাদ এখনো তবু লেগে রয়েছে ঠোঁটের কোণে। আমি নিজেই সেই সব স্বাদ আস্বাদন করেছি, আমি নিজেই সেই সব স্বাদ আস্বাদন করেছি। আমি স্বাদ আস্বাদন করেছি নিজে, সমুদ্রের ফোঁটার নোনতা মিঠে, যা শুকিয়েছে সে আমার দোরোর ফাঁকে, পেটের ঘাম এসে ভিড়েছে আমার তপ্ত বুকে আমি নিজেই সেই সব স্বাদ আস্বাদন করেছি আমি নিজেই সেই সব স্বাদ আস্বাদন করেছি আমি স্বাদ আস্বাদন করেছি নিজে মেরুদণ্ড বেনা চকলেট কিশমিশের মিঠে স্পন্দনে পায়ের আঙ্গুলের ফাঁকে গড়িয়ে পড়া লাল রসালো স্বপ্নে আবাবিলের নিঃশ্বাসে পলকের ছোঁয়ায় ভরে ওঠা মুখে আমি সেই সব স্বাদ আস্বাদন করেছি আমি নিজেই সেই সব স্বাদ আস্বাদন করেছি আমি স্বাদ আস্বাদন করেছি নিজে যতক্ষণ আমি বিভোর হয়ে উঠি ঘুমে আমি নিজেই সেই সব স্বাদ আস্বাদন করেছি আমি নিজেই সেই সব স্বাদ আস্বাদন করেছি
Thank you.
Even if you do not understand, comprehend the actual language, the emotion comes through. That was so moving, so powerful to hear this song produced in the way that it has been. You've got to teach white women everything. White men too, as far as I know. But anyway, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful song and delivery, and I appreciate as well the emphasis on nature that is in the poem, despite that catchy title, for crying out loud. Anyway, we're getting ready to move on to our next poet, who basically needs no introduction for many of us. But I am going to ask Subrata, actually, is he? Yes, he's here. All right, to introduce Giovanna Riccio. Yes, I know you weren't expecting it, but there you go. And here's, I know you've got the bio there as well, and I think it's basically the same as what we.
Giovanna Riccio, or should it be Giovanna? Oh, okay. Is a graduate of the University of Toronto, where she majored in philosophy. She is the author of Vittorio, Lyrical Medical Press, 2010, Strong Bread, Quattro Books, 2011, and Plastics Republic, Guernica Editions, 2019. Her poems have appeared in national and international publications and in numerous anthologies, as well as in translation. Giovanna is the 2021 winner of the Venera Fazio Poetry Prize. Giovanna Riccio.
Yes.
Okay, well, I'm really happy to be here again. And it was a great honor to have all those poems put to music by various composers and to hear them transformed. I'm going to read a poem to begin, my poem of choice. This is a poem I wrote for my mother, my late mother. So I'm Italian. We immigrated from Italy And what happened with that generation of Italians that immigrated was all the women went to work in the factories. They did not stay home, no. And so down Spadina was the garment district. And my mother did not work there. She worked out in Scarborough for 20 years making costume jewelry. And which was really hard. She worked in the paint room, painting pearls, you know, fake pearl. So this is called Mother of Pearl. And let me say that as with every immigrant generation, there's always tension between daughter and mother, one wanting to rein her in, the daughter wanting to be free. Mother of Pearl. It was too long ago that we came across the ocean. Billboards waiting for us and winters blowing in snow. I want to remember your booted figure weathering blizzards. Want to put our frozen forms aside. Follow your warmth when it goes past fatigue to the clothing store where your wages bought the white blouse for my choir outfit, your fingers shelling out songs extracted from noxious chemicals in sea caves on King Street. You, everyday maker of fake pearls, creator of pendant luminosities and iridescent tear-shaped fobs. How deftly you travel through polymer mists into fresh shapes, hues, lengths. With necklaces, sleep weighing you down. How good to latch my nightmares, to feed my love for chocolate and oranges, and dress me one immaculate Sunday in lace and the forgiveness of sins. I'm telling you this so I won't forget the layers that formed each pearl, or undervalue those simulations I keep in old boxes held together by memory, strung on fault lines that open and eclipse the light. Thank you. And now I'm going to read the poem that was chosen by Pallavi to be put to music. It's called The Gift. This is for Angelo, my brother. Let me just say that we grew up without toys, and this is sort of in here, right? The Gift. Lines of railroad tracks south of our house. Two misfit children mining pop bottles, glint on glass, sparking gold 2-penny promises. We piled small change against the margin. A new home we didn't recognize until it claimed us. Nickel and diming our dreams, we bought dinky toys to zoom us to posh faraway streets. Foolish rings pressed cheap shadows on my fingers. But the dolls I craved fancied well-heeled lives in a world beyond our paltry stash. Pricey girls who stranded me on this side of the television. By the time you landed a part-time job, I ached for blush, makeup, and buff movie stars. Thwarted then your gift of a late-comer satin doll. I never named her, although we tried bonding in reverse. The two of us locked in my room, looking to backfill the past.
Thank you very much, Giovanna. Now let me invite Shreya Bodua.
Lines of railroad tracks south of our house. Two misfit children mining pop bottles glint on glass bars. our dinky toys to zoom us to posh faraway streets. Foolish rings press cheap shadows on my fingers, lines of railroad tracks. But the dolls I crave fancied well-heeled lives in a world beyond our poultry stash. Oh, bicycles who left me stranded on the side of the television. By the time you landed a part-time job, I ached for blush makeup of movie stars, thwarted then your gift of a latecomer satin doll, lines of railroad tracks. I never named her, although we tried bonding in reverse. Oh, the two of us locked in my room, looking to backfill the past, lines of railroad tracks south of our house. Two misfit children lining pop bottles glint on glass sparking, lines of railroad tracks. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shreya, again. And again, let me invite Giovanna to come to the microphone and read your third poem. And after that, Tasmina will be reading the Bengali translation. And afterwards, Shamit will be singing.
It has 6 verses. This, I will read it again. This song has a happy tone. It has 6 verses. The 6 verses have 2 unique tunes and they repeat. First verse repeats at the end, right? It's beautiful. I found that so heartbreaking to listen to. In a way, the poem did not affect me. Okay, anyway, so for Leather Gloves, she writes, this has 2 verses which have the same tune except for the last 4 lines, which have a sad and melancholic tone of missing the other pair of gloves, and it ends like that. Yes, it does. So this is Leather Gloves. I used to have 2 dogs. They sadly passed away, and I'd be walking those dogs all the time, and I'd put my gloves in my pocket and lose one, because it would fall out, right? And I was always aggravated looking for the lost glove. So I wrote this poem about it, Leather Gloves. I like fingering their sumptuous familiarity, sliding them on, taking in the leather's taut glow, the raw animal scent. These supple brown duplicates of my hands, formed by my own heat. Arcs and jabbing lines mark our time together. One always goes missing, usually the right, my dominant side. And although I retrace my steps, no luck, I'm left holding a useless single. I imagine the lone one, stiff on the snow, palm up, fingers curved, poised for a life of its own. Mine only for a time, yet so intimate and well-worn, I feel its loss. How it held my hand every day and took the cold for me. Okay, thank you.
Tasmina, do the translation. Read the translation. Thank you.
Thanks again. যে কবিতাটি পড়ছি এটির নাম লেদার গ্লাভস, লিখেছেন জিওভানা রিচিও, অনুবাদ করেছি আমি তাসমিনা খান। খুব ভালো লাগে তাদের ঐশ্বর্যপূর্ণ সমৃদ্ধ ছোঁয়া হাতে গলিয়ে নিতে, টান টান চামড়ার উজ্জ্বলতার দীপ্তি পেতে, কাঁচা পশুর স্বাভাবিক সহজাত গন্ধ, কোমল বাদামি ওই আভা যেন আমার হাতেরই এক প্রতিরূপ, যা গড়ে উঠেছে আমার নিজের শরীরের উত্তাপ বাঁক আর তীক্ষ্ণ বক্র ভাজরেখা দিয়ে। এ যেন এক প্রতীক আমাদের একসঙ্গে পার করা একান্ত সময়ের। একটি সব সময় হারিয়ে যায়, সচরাচর তার ডান হাতেরটি, আমার প্রাধান্যপ্রাপ্ত দিকেরটা। যদিও আমি খুঁজতে থাকি, কিন্তু কপালে তা ঠিক মেলে না, সাথে পড়ে থাকে অকার্যকর হয়ে অন্যটি। কল্পনায় এঁকে নেই সেই হারানো একাকিটিকে, শক্ত হয়ে পড়ে আছে তুষারে। হাতের তালুটি যেন উপরের দিকে, আঙুলগুলো বেঁকে যাওয়া, সে প্রস্তুত একাকী জীবন পথ পাড়ি দেবার জন্য। অল্পের জন্যই তা ছিল আমার, কিন্তু হয়ে উঠছিল কতটা অন্তরঙ্গ। বহুবার ব্যবহৃত দস্তানা আমি অনুভব করি তাকে হারানোটি। কিভাবে সে রোজ আমার হাতটি নিবিড় করে ধরে রাখত, শীতের প্রবল তীব্রতা আমার হয়ে শুষে নিত। ধন্যবাদ।
খুব ভালো লাগে তাদের ঐশ্বর্যপূর্ণ সমৃদ্ধ ছোঁয়া, খুব ভালো লাগে তাদের ঐশ্বর্যপূর্ণ সমৃদ্ধ ছোঁয়া। হাতে গলিয়ে নিতে টান টান চামড়ার তলতা দীপ্তি পেতে, কাঁচা পশুর স্বাভাবিক সহজাত গন্ধ, কোমল বাদামি সে আভা যেন আমার হাতেরই এক প্রতিরূপ, যা গড়ে উঠেছে আমার নিজের শরীরে উত্তাপ বাঁকার তীক্ষ্ণ বক্র ভাজি রেখা দিয়ে, সে যেন এক প্রতীক আমাদের একসঙ্গে পার করা একান্ত সময়ে। একটু সব সময় হারিয়ে যায় সচরাচর তার ডান হাতেরটি, আমার প্রাধান্য প্রাপ্ত দিকেরটা যদিও খুঁজতে থাকি, কিন্তু তা মেলে না, সাথে পড়ে থাকে অকার্যকর হয়ে অন্যটি, কল্পনায় কিনে সে হারানো একাকিটিকে শক্ত হয়ে পড়ে আছে তুষারে। হাতে তালুটি যেন উপরের দিকে, আঙুলগুলো বেঁকে যাওয়া, সে প্রস্তুত একাকী জীবন পথ পাড়ি দেবার জন্য। অল্পের জন্য তা ছিল আমার, কিন্তু হয়ে উঠেছিল কতটা অন্তরঙ্গ। বহুবার ব্যবহারিত দস্তানা আমি অনুভব করি তাকে হারানোটি কিভাবে সেরো আমার হাতটি নিবিড় করে ধরে রাখত শীতের প্রবল তীব্রতা আমার হয়ে শুষে নিত শীতের তীব্রতা আমার হয়ে শুষে নিত।
Thank you so much. But I think that Pallavi recognized an emotional drama inside that poem, and well, let me say that my own views were confirmed. I just love the passion that the music has encased the poem within, and that Pallavi really found that the emotional drama behind. And when you think about it, losing anything that is precious to one, it has exactly that kind of depth, that kind of pathos, the gravitas of it, the tragedy of it, actually, even. So we can say that. Yeah, just a fantastic performance once again, and I hope that Pallavi was listening. And yeah, it's just fantastic. Wow. And so we are passing now to our next poet, and I've already read the bio for Aisha, and so I'm really going to be happy to have her return to the podium in a moment, and read the poem in English, Baked Earth, and then of course we'll hear the song. I should probably at this point just mention Pallavi's notes for Baked Earth. This song has both Eastern and Western flavors of notation. It depicts two stanzas. In those two stanzas, almost every line has different arrangements of notes. The song goes on a flow, like a finale of desperate opera. I like that, like a finale of desperate opera, and it helps to underline what I was trying to articulate before about the poem being a theater. I said this to my creative writing classes all the time, so I'm going to break away from Pallavi's notes to underline this point for all poets especially. And it took me a long time to understand it, but the poem is always a play. It's always a little play. There's always a speaker in the poem, or more, there can also be more than one, but at least one speaker is giving us that poem for an emotional reason. And I think the genius of the composers that we've been working with, and Giovanna has also commissioned a couple of songs as well from a couple of composers. What the composers bring to the poetry is the need, the commitment to really understand the emotional drive of the poem. And often the poets themselves, ourselves, don't really know what it is that we've injected the poem with in terms of emotion, but it's the duty of the composer to find the emotion. And that's what this project has taught me, that the most important aspect of the poem is not the ideas, it's not the imagery, it's the emotion that propels everything. And I think we just heard an excellent example of that with Pallavi's setting of leather gloves. So I'll go on with her notes. The song goes on a flow like a finale of desperate opera. It's the line which repeats because of its depth of presentation. At last we bake the earth will repeat as it holds the whole song meaning wise. And of course the finale of desperate opera is Aisha's line. And it's I think informs all poetry all the time, that is actually trying to say something and something that can be sung. Anyway, I've gone on way too long. Ladies and gentlemen, Aisha Chatterjee. Yes.
Hi, and thank you again. It's such a pleasure to be here. Thank you all for coming out, and to everybody who's kind of tuned in. And thank you to the performers. You guys are so great, and you put in so much work in a very short time, and it's beautiful, so thank you for that. I have one poem that I read before Baked Earth, and so I'm just it's from my collection of The Clarity of Distance, and I chose a poem that I hope most of us can, I think practically everyone can. I grew up in Calcutta, India. It's called Kolkata now, but I've always known it as Calcutta, and we, as a teenager, we shortened it to Cal, so I've always talked about Cal. But my husband and I also lived in Germany for many years, and we speak fluent German. And so when we moved from Germany to Canada, I think this is something all of us have sort of gone through. When you move from one place to another, a place that you have been so familiar with that you stop looking at, you suddenly look at again, and you notice things. And that's really what this poem is about. It's called Homage. The language I slip into like a second skin to play at being someone else has loosened into unexpected textures, and the billboards are unreadable again. Feathered masks and candlesticks and papier-mâché boxes have blossomed into color. Marigolds that I've begun to deconstruct and press between the heavy pages of the past, making sure the petals haven't torn. Together, we lead a double existence, one of knowledge and one of ignorance, and both are right. When the time comes to fill the years with fragrant oil and little wicks of cotton and set them on the river, I will watch the little boats of light float into the darkness. How small they are, how fragile. Thank you. So, Baked Earth is from Bottles and Bones, which is my second collection, and that collection is actually about fragrances and the sense of smell. And so Baked Earth is literally, I think, an English translation of a very ancient Indian attar, a perfume. In Hindi, it's called Mitti Attar. In the English word for it is petrichor. It's when, after very dry summer, when the earth is completely dry and baked, the first rains fall, and there's a particular smell. And all of us, especially those of us who grew up on the subcontinent, and you know what the monsoons smell like, that is baked earth. So, and weirdly, it really did always fall on my mother's birthday, which is the 12th of June. And this is climate change. That's shifted now, apparently, maybe a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks later. But that's what you need to know, and it's set in Calcutta. Before the first rains, which fall always on my mother's birthday, the air tenses, and all the shriveled up things rotting in the gullies and behind the walls of churches and temples release a kind of concentrated fragrance, like the finale of a desperate opera that had forgotten itself and fallen into an incoherent mutter, and has only just roused itself back into consciousness, although no one is listening, and the city is bare of movement. All the shutters drawn in imitation night, cars and houses stilled, glazed offices stilled, broken trams and keeling buses stilled, until the first heavy drops hurtle from the sky, and we smell the earth.
Wow.
Okay, I think it's time for the song.
Before the first rains, before the first rains, which fall always on my mother's birthday. Before the first rains, before the first rains, which fall always on my mother's birthday. The air tenses and all the shriveled up things rotting in the gullies and behind the walls of churches and temples release a kind of concentrated fragrance, like the finale of a desperate opera, like the finale of a desperate opera that had forgotten itself and fallen into an incoherent mutter, and has only just dragged itself all back into consciousness. Although no one is listening and the city is bare of movement, bare of movement. All the shutters drawn in imitation like cars and houses still. The race offices still, broken trams and killing buses still, until the first heavy drops hurtle from the sky, and we smell the earth, and we smell the earth. We smell the earth before the first rains, before the first rains, which fall always on my mother's birthday. Before the first rains, before the first rains, before the first rains.
I'm back. That was beautiful, thank you. Okay, so this is the second poem, which is then translated into Bengali by Tasmina. Just a little bit of background. It's called Before This, Because the Sea is Never Far Enough. And I wrote it after a visit to the Sundarbans, in Bengali is the Sundarban, which literally means beautiful forest. And it's the mangrove forests, sort of at the Bay of Bengal. And I think I was just really, really impressed. I spent 3 days there with a foundation called Sanctuary, which works with the villagers in the Sundarbans. It's a very difficult environment to actually live in because it's mostly saline to begin with because of the sea that is encroaching further and further into the Sundarbans. So the villagers, they try to make a living through agriculture, but that is almost impossible because of the strong amount of salt that is in there. And so they gather honey from the forests, or they go fishing. And in both of those cases, it's really, really dangerous because there are tigers in those forests. And they are a little bit different. They're Royal Bengal tigers, but they are slightly different from Bengal tigers in other areas. They've learned to swim. They're very strong swimmers because there are I think I can't remember how many islands there are, and they swim from island to island. And there aren't a lot of prey. The biggest and tastiest prey is us. So those are the things that were kind of at the back of my mind when I was writing this poem. Because the sea is never far enough, at night it's me, knee-deep in silt, black and slick from the tide. Too deep. This net holds nothing but mud skippers. Look at them, skimming the surface of my brackish mind, the roll and flip of them, a sickly mimicking of my own piano rag heart. Like stranded knotted hair, the river, parrot green and thick with jellyfish. The taste of it as sour as lemon pickle or the verklempt sky. Which islands will it swallow when the nor'westers come? What new bedraggled myths will it release? A boy counting lion's teeth, a lodestar, false and striped and glossy, snarling on a thatched roof, fossicking for fresh meat. Thank you.
Wow. Now, once again, the translator, Tasmina Khan.
কবিতাটির নাম সমুদ্র কখনোই দূরে নয়। মূল লেখাটি লিখেছেন আয়েশা চ্যাটার্জি আর অনুবাদ করেছি আমি তাসমিনা খান। রাতের গভীরে আমি হাঁটু পর্যন্ত পানির গভীরে তলিয়ে যাই। জোয়ারের ছোঁয়ায় কালিমায় ছায়া কৃষ্ণ পিচ্ছিল পলিতে হারায়। গভীর কালো জল, এতটাই তা গভীর যে এই জলে ধরা পড়ে শুধুই ওই ভাসমান মাঠ স্কিপারগুলো। জলের চামড়া জুড়ে ওগুলো যেন ভেসে বেড়ায়। আমার লোনা নোনা জল মাখা মনের সমুদ্রে তাদের গড়িয়ে যাওয়া উল্টে পাল্টে যাওয়া যেন ব্যঙ্গ করে আমারই পিয়ানোটিকে, আমার জীর্ণ হৃদয়। এ যেন সে নদী যা সিঁথি করা জট পাকানো চুলেরই মতন, টিয়া সবুজ বরণ আর জেলিফিশেদের ঘন শরীরের মতনই মাখো মাখো ঘন। স্বাদে তা যেন লেবুর আচারেরই মতন অম্লতাময়, কিংবা বোবা কান্না আটকে রাখা ওই আকাশের মতন। কালবৈশাখী এলে কোন কোন দ্বীপগুলোকে তা গিলে নেবে, আর কোন নতুন কল্পকাহিনী প্রকাশ করবে। একটি বাচ্চা ছেলে সিংহের দাঁত গুনছে, একটি ধ্রুবতারাও কি মিছে? আর ডোরা কাটা চকচকে ওই খড়ের চালে যেন তাজা মাংস খুঁজে বেড়াচ্ছে। ধন্যবাদ।
I never ever let go an opportunity when I get, when I get to speak. George, you said that Aisha might be the next president of the States. So I have to be very careful when I sing this song. And I've tried my best. I'm sure she's not going to be like any close to what Mr. Trump does. But yes, I'm sure. Are you guys liking the evening so far? Yes. Yes. Excellent. Glad to hear that. I'll go back to the song. Thank you.
রাতে গভীরে আমি হাঁটু পর্যন্ত পানির গভীরে তলিয়ে যাই। জোয়ারের ছোঁয়ায় কালিমা ছায়া কৃষ্ণ পিছিল পলিতে হারায়। পানির গভীরে তলিয়ে যায় রাতের গভীরে আমি হাঁটু পর্যন্ত নীর গভীরে তলিয়ে যায়। গভীর কালো জল এতটাই তা গভীর যে যে জলে ধরা পরে শুধু মাছ কি পারগুলো জলের চামড়া জুড়ে ওগুলো যেন ভেসে বেড়ায় আমার নোনা নোনা জল মাখা মনের সমুদ্রে তাদের গড়ি যাওয়া উল্টে পাল্টে যাওয়া যেন ব্যঙ্গ করে আমার পিয়ানোকে রাতে গভীরে আমি হাঁটু পর্যন্ত পানির গভীরে তলিয়ে যায় আমার জীর্ণ হৃদয় এ যেন এক নদী যা শিখি করা চট পাকানো চুলেরই মতো প্রিয়া সবুজ ভরণ আর জেলিফিশদের ঘন শরীরের মতো মাখো মাখো ঘন সাদে তা যেন লেবু আচারের মতো অম্লতাময় কিংবা বাবা কান্না আটকে রাখা ওই আকাশের মতো কাল বর্ষাকি এলে কোন দিকগুলোকে তাগিলে নেবে আর কোন নতুন গল্প কাহিনী প্রকাশ করবে একটি বাচ্চা ছেলে সিংহের দাঁত গুনছে একটি ধ্রুব তারা যেন মিছে 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 আর ডোরা কাটা চকচকে ওই খড়ের চালে যেন তাজা মাংস খুঁজে বেড়াচ্ছে রাতে গভীরে আমি হাঁটু পর্যন্ত পানির গভীরে তলিয়ে যাই জোয়ারের ছোঁয়ায় কালিমা ছায়া কৃষ্ণ পিছিল পলিতে হারায় পানি গভীরে তলিয়ে যায়।
Thank you very much, Shamit Barua. Ladies and gentlemen, now let me introduce the super boss of this project, Mr. George Eliot Clark. George Eliot Clark is the Emeritus Parliamentary Poet Laureate of Canada. He is the Emeritus Toronto Poet Laureate. He has been included in the Order of Nova Scotia. He has been included in the Order of Canada. He is the recipient of the Governor General's Literary Award for Poetry in 2001. And he is the recipient of 8 honorary degrees from different universities. Now, let us welcome George Eliot Clark, the super boss of this project.
Wow, I'm at a loss for words. That was very impressive. I got to say, Subrata, before I go on and read a poem or two and so on, and let me just check the time here. Oh my golly, things have just gone so well and way too fast. Here it is already quarter after, going on 20 after 8. Anyway, so we are coming down to the end of the program, but I just want to say once again how thrilled I am with all of the music, all the presentations, all of the compositions. And again, I think that Pallavi and of course James Rolfe too bring out the hidden nuances, or maybe I shouldn't say hidden, but the subtle nuances of feeling that is present in the poetry, and which is brought to life, made vivid by the music, and in fact, through this project, I've come to believe that the poem is at its very best when it is sung. You know, too many of us in this part of the world, especially because of the modernist movement of the early 20th century, we were taught that the poem was best understood once you had studied it. You had to treat the poem as if it were a fossil or an animal or a piece of tissue that has to be subjected to great scrutiny and microscopic study and the application of scalpels to see exactly how the thing works or how it used to work, because of course the impact of that kind of invasive examination of anything living, and which includes art, may end up rendering it null and void or devoid of any kind of real feeling. I think that one of the great benefits of song and have music applied to poetry is that it makes it live again, makes it live doubly, it resuscitates it, resurrects it. It makes it something unkillable, especially once you have a tune attached to it. I know that as poets, we're often used to having a musician accompany us. We're also sometimes presented in the context of reading, just reciting, and no music, et cetera, except for the music of our own voices and the musicality of the words themselves. I think that one of the great beauties of this project is to harmonize once again the idea of music and voice. The poem itself being available for voicing, but also available for singing. To basically uplift the poem from the prison of the page and from the prison of the classroom, to make it something that goes into the ear and goes into the ears of potential audiences and so on. So I think that we have been blessed and brought into the realms of bliss in terms of being able to hear the poem, which may have been born in something like silence. And so many of us as poets work in solitude and quiet. Although you might be listening to some music at the same time, but generally it's a relatively muted environment in which we tend to do our writing and tend to try to find what it is we really need to say about anything. And then to suddenly hear those songs, hear those poems transformed into songs, it just gives them a whole different life, a whole different set of spaces in which to move, in which to live, in which to thrive, in which to, and I'm going to use the word that Subrata just used, to pulse. Once again, instead of the ink becomes blood, and it becomes living blood, instead of this dry substance on the page, in terms of the poem being given voice as song. So let us continue and let many, many more events like this and evenings like this unfold. Now I'm going to grab a book, my opening poem for this closing set. I gave it a lot of thought, and which is unusual for me. But anyway, this is the poem is called Johann Gutenberg Prints the Holy Bible, 1455. The reason why I want to read this poem is because of the fact that as poets, we are dedicated to language. We're also dedicated to the idea of print. And of course, the Gutenberg Revolution was the idea of printing things and making them available to a literate public. And of course, in this case, we're talking about the Bible and Gutenberg's decision to print the Bible, which basically made everybody their own interpreter of Scripture, at least in terms of Christianity, if they cared to be. And of course, that set in revolution the whole idea of print in general and print culture. As a matter of fact, I got to break away from the text and preach a little bit here. And what I want to say is this. Everybody talks about AI, and everybody talks about electronics, conquering everything and repressing everything. But I want to hold true. I want to hold true to the faith of print, of believing in print and upholding print. Because I think that print is still radical. Print is still revolutionary. The whole idea of being able to apply script of any sort to paper and to have it be portable as in a book, not portable as in a laptop or portable as in a phone, which have to be completely dependent on the electrical grid, the power grid, on very sophisticated technologies and so on. I love print because it's still relatively simple. It's still relatively easy. I love the idea of writing. I love the idea of handwriting and so on. I like being able to go into the bank and pull out a fountain pen and sign my Government of Canada old age security check right in front of the teller and say, I know you haven't seen one of these in a long time. It's called a fountain pen. And look at my signature. Look at that signature, how powerful it is, thanks to the black ink flowing from this pen. And every now and then, one of them will say to me, you know what? I'm from India. My father had fountain pens. I appreciate fountain pens. And I think, okay, you are a very literate person. I don't know why you're working for the Royal Bank. But anyway, your job is now to become the president of the Royal Bank, using the power of the pen to do that. I know I shouldn't keep going on and on about all this. I should read the poem. But the reason why I chose this poem, Giovanna, the reason why I chose this poem is because of the reference to Gutenberg printing the Bible. And so here it is. Johann Gutenberg prints the Holy Bible, 1455. Dewy handwriting, sketching imagos, mirages of definitions, the indifferent anarchy of wishy-washy palsy, illegible tracery or illicit mirroring, these ideas impossible to set down straight, the deformed letters that confuse, that render theology miasmic ooze, slouching from a pen, slurring, tender, unexpurgated bilge. Via print, I terminate misreading. Feelings need to be fixed to set free uncensored thought. My apparatus presses lines, angles, curves, incarnates the apparition of speech. Feathers, quills, whistle upon or rustle pages. Intelligence has always been dredged from ink. But these works pass before priestly half-wit eyes, whose theology becomes a branch of zoology. These are fellows fond of incineration, who name rival clerics as heretics and lash them to stakes and set them afire, while fronting as scholars to gullible schoolboys. The alphabet is a palette of letters, Greco-Roman, that given firm impress in ink got from wine, leads our nature-naked bodies from cavernous darkness to accelerated light, to suns and stars as round and as definite as a period. The wet tip of the plume, the splendid burning of ink now becomes the solar brilliance of laid out leaden letters, each line an intoxicating parallel to sped up dawn light. My printing press erects a lighthouse of books, a shouting fire, yet not of witches and nonconformists, for that's the perfidy of that drat, church, but the brazen torch of enlightenment. A pin in a pot is old, ordinary history unsound. The Gutenberg press shouts back at the dark in courageous echoes of prose, the private glamour of the volume. It isn't sketchy, nor as bluffing, puffing, or blustery as the lisping plumage of a murder of crow-black quills. Nor is it wasteful of silence, but presses pages as incisive as an incision, whose unspoken violence is brutal, raw, vehement truth that scalpels out church-controlled eyes or the earthy lungs of maggot halo theologians, their black cadaverous translucence. The press is always extra-parliamentary, unparliamentary. The press is always extra-parliamentary, unparliamentary. No more the glosses as opaque as taverns. No more the potty mouths of well-fed clerics, roaring calumnies upon the poor at each chirrup of the rich. The poor go begging to the deaf plutocrats who heed only the eerie hiss of their own mass impoverishment schemes. This press is newborn lungs, howls of discord, wails of dissonance. Unparliamentary. Unparliamentary. You're crying. Unparliamentary. Yes, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. Let me get on to reading the very short poem that Pallavi selected for the English song. And I'll also share with you what she says about it. The ending. She calls it the ending. It's actually just simply ending. She says, I wanted to present a sad tone with lifeless tune. Very blunt, very boring notes are presented at the beginning of the song. This song has 3 verses. Very short song, but very touchy. Here in this song, culture is what you eat. Nature is what eats you. And culture is what you eat. This line repeats because of its strong and meaningful connection. Most important part of the song is the ending. You are buried, ends, and slowly fades away, just like a body slowly embraces death. Okay, so yeah, this is ending. All things must pass. Even pain dwindles like sun-singed water. Dew refreshes grass. Cattle crush en route to slaughter. Culture is what you eat. Nature is what eats you. Laughter from the funeral home and acts of light maims the dark. Relax.
Culture is what you eat. Nature is what eats you. And culture is what you eat. Cattle crush en route to slaughter. Culture is what you eat. Nature is what eats you. And culture is what you eat. Laughter from the funeral home and acts of light maims the dark. Laughter from the funeral home and acts of light maims the dark. Relax, you only hit rock bottom once. Relax, you only hit rock bottom once. You are
Shreya, that was magnificent. And you have just performed magnificently tonight. And you've helped to make it a very memorable 5 poets breaking into song. And so now here it is, time to recite the last song, poem, which is now a song. Everything is free. And I've got to tell you just a little bit about this poem. I'm kind of surprised, actually. I wrote this poem in Toronto in 1982 when I was 22, and I was listening to the radio a lot. And there was a song by a group called the Motels, which is a Canadian group. And they had a song which used the title that Roy Orbison had made famous in the 1960s, Only the Lonely. Their song, which had the same title, Only the Lonely, was very different. And I thought myself that was also a very good song. And I thought that one day as I was making supper for myself in a very horrible rooming house near Harvard and Bathurst. I have some very bad memories of that horrible rooming house. But there I was making myself supper, probably hot dogs or something like that. And all of a sudden this song started to come to me. This very simple piece. And I almost didn't write it. I thought, it's too simple. It's too stupid. Too stupidly simple. It doesn't make any sense to write this. But I did. I wrote it. It rhymes. I put it in my book, While It Falls, my second book of poetry. And in that book, I give it to a character who's a minister. And he's reflecting on life and death. And so then he comes to this point, this sermonic idea of everything is free. And even though this poem is so ridiculously simple and easy and stupidly simple, and so on, it is probably my most popular poem. It's been translated many times. It's been put to music many times. Even set for choirs. It's been performed in Italian. It's been performed, of course, different styles of genres of music. And I actually kind of resent it because I'm like, why does this poem get all this attention? And then Pallavi comes along and says, "Oh, this is the poem I want to set to music for Bangla." And I think, okay, I give up. All right, there's something about this poem that people tend to like, which is good. I shouldn't complain. I'm glad about it. And so I'll read it. But I am going to read another poem first because let's take advantage of my short stint here at this microphone. And I'm going to choose a very, very short poem. Shakespeare owns all the words, and I have none. All of English, even the Bible, he owns every syllable. But I is mine, all mine alone. It's not the poem I wanted to. Okay, never mind. All right, so everything is free. Okay. Wipe away tears, set free your fears. Everything is free. Only the lonely need much money. Everything is free. Don't try to bind the love you find. Everyone is free. Your lover's yours, surrender force. Everyone is free. The sun melts down, spreads gold around. Everything is free. The rain is spent, lending flowers scent. Everything is free. The love you live, the life you give, everything is free. And I should mention that the translator is Farzana Naz Shampa. And I'll just share with you the notes that Pallavi has. Everything is free. It's a song of 4 verses. This song has a happy and encouraging tone. You will also see the different tune in the 3rd verse. Music composition of this song is also very powerful as it takes the audience to think about the lines. Thank you, Pallavi. And now, Tasmina Khan will read the translation.
Thanks, George, again. So before I go, I just want to mention a few things. So as you know, we were talking about this since the beginning of the program, that this is the 22nd attempt of this great kind of arrangement. So I really appreciate George to include us as a Bengali part of the project, and obviously the credit goes to Subrata Kumar Das, who brought all of us here, gathered all of us here, and we are very proud of Subrata Kumar Das as the pioneer of all this literary movement, all this thing that we are doing constantly, and we are expanding our involvement with the mainstream now with you. And George, thank you so much. We are all very grateful for including us. Okay, so I'm gonna go for my last recitation. I would suggest I'm reading out loud because I'm not a reciter. I don't know. I don't have that skill. Anyways, the poem's its name is Shab Mukto Ar Binamulle Mele. এটি জর্জ ইলিয়ট ক্লার্কের লেখা, আর অনুবাদ করেছেন ফারজানা নাজ শম্পা। আমি শুধু পড়ে শোনাচ্ছি। অশ্রুধারা মুছে ফেলো, মুক্ত করো ভীতির অর্গল, সব কিছুই বিনামূল্যে মেলে। শুধু একাকিত্বেরই কিছুটা হলেও অর্থ বৈভবের প্রয়োজন। বন্ধনহীন করো ভালোবাসা, তারপর যে ভালোবাসার সন্ধান পাবে তাও কিন্তু মুক্ত স্বাধীন, তাও কিন্তু মুক্ত স্বাধীন। তোমার প্রেমিকের অবনত সমর্পিত শক্তির ক্ষিপ্রতা রয়েছে ভালোবাসার স্থানে। এসব শৃঙ্খল মুক্ত, উদার স্বাধীন। সূর্যলোকের উত্তাপ দ্রবীভূত হয় আর সোনালি আভা ছড়ায়। এসবই মুক্ত আর বিনামূল্যে পাওয়া যায়। তোমার ভালোবাসার প্রতিদান, যাপিত জীবন, সবই মুক্ত বিনামূল্যে পাওয়া যায়। সবই মুক্ত বিনামূল্যে পাওয়া যায়। সবই মুক্ত বিনামূল্যে পাওয়া যায়। ধন্যবাদ।
What a fabulous way to end, to spend the last day of being 42 years old, right? Okay, all right. As I promised last time, and that's it. Thank you.
অশ্রুধারা মুছে ফেলো, মুক্ত করো ভীতির অর্গল, অশ্রুধারা মুছে ফেলো, মুক্ত করো ভীতির অর্গল, সব কিছু বিনামূল্যে মেলে। একাকিত্বের কিছুটা হলেও প্রয়োজন। অশ্রুধারা মুছে ফেলো, মুক্ত করো ভীতি অর্গল, সব কিছু বিনামূল্যে মেলে। একাকিত্বের কিছুটা হলেও প্রয়োজন। লা 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 লা, অর্থ বৈভবে আর সেসব মুক্ত। বন্ধন করো ভালোবাসা, তারপরে যে ভালোবাসার সন্ধান মিলবে, তাও কিন্তু মুক্ত স্বাধীন, তাও কিন্তু মুক্ত স্বাধীন। তোমার প্রেমিকের অবনত সমর্পিত শক্তি ক্ষিপ্রতা ভালোবাসা স্থানে, এই সব শৃঙ্খল মুক্ত তার স্বাধীন। সূর্যলোকের উত্তাপ সোনালি আভা ছড়ায় এসব মুক্ত আর বিনামূল্যে পাওয়া যায় তোমার ভালোবাসা প্রতিরা জপিত জীবন এসব মুক্ত বিনামূল্যে পাওয়া যায় এসব মুক্ত বিনামূল্যে পাওয়া যায় এসব মুক্ত বিনামূল্যে পাওয়া যায় এসব মুক্ত বিনামূল্যে
And thank you last of all, Shreya's inspiration and her music teacher, Thompson. I'm so grateful that you have done so much. You have gone way beyond your capacity and you have, I don't know how you have managed time for us, but thank you. It was all short notice and I'm sure you would all agree that he has done a fabulous job. Thank you so much.
Wow! Wow. We've come to the end of the program. Once again, I have been thoroughly pleased and thrilled and filled with shivers of happiness and excitement. The interpretation of the poems that we have heard, now that they are songs. I want to thank Pallavi again for so brilliantly thinking through the settings of these pieces. I also want to very quickly say thank you to Boyd Warren Chubbs, who drew the poster for us, which is also the front cover of our brochure. If you don't have one, please take one with you. And there should be enough to go around. I do have extra with me right now if you'd like to have a copy. I also want to thank Gloria Max, who's unable to be with us tonight, but she was also a powerhouse in terms of organizing the production of the brochure, the program. And also got to say, wow, to daughter and father, Barua.
Yes, come on here.
Yeah, please. Yeah. And Thompson. Yeah, and Sabrata. Yeah, and Tasmina.
Yeah.
And
Giovanna.
And Giovanna.
Yes, and Aisha.
Wow. Should we go? Yeah, we should go. Oh, the flowers. Yeah. Yeah. Flowers. Thompson. All right, everyone is welcome to come and join us for the photograph.
আজকে আমরা এখন যে অনুষ্ঠানটি উপভোগ করলাম সেটি হচ্ছে অ্যাংলো-বাংলা ক্যানাডিয়ান ক্যান্টিকলস। এটি একটি মাইলস্টোন স্থাপন করলো আজ, কারণ এই যে আমাদের টরন্টো পোয়েট লরিয়েট জর্জ ইলিয়ট ক্লার্কের 22তম প্রজেক্টটাতে এই যে আমরা বাঙালিরা সামিল হলাম, এটা আমাদের অনেক বড় একটা প্রাপ্তি, অনেক বড় একটা অর্জন। আমরা আসলে এই জর্জ ইলিয়ট ক্লার্ক কিন্তু 21টা পর্ব করে এসেছেন। এই 21টা পর্বের মধ্যে শুধুমাত্র ইংরেজি কবিতা থেকে ইংরেজি গান হয়েছে। আজ কি ব্যতিক্রম, আজকে কি সুন্দর একটা মাইলস্টোন সেট আপ করা হলো। আজকে এখানে বাঙালিরা সংযুক্ত হলো, 150টা ভাষার মধ্যে বাঙালি জায়গা পেল এরকম একটা বড় মেইন স্ট্রিমের কাজে, এবং এভাবে আমরা সংযুক্ত হলাম, এভাবেই আমরা এগিয়ে যাব আমাদের সবাই একসাথে। এবং জর্জ ইলিয়ট ক্লার্ক এবং সুব্রত কুমার দাসের সমন্বিত এই প্রজেক্টটাতে প্রত্যেকে অত্যন্ত আনন্দিত। এটা খুবই চমৎকার এবং প্রাণবন্ত একটি ইভেন্ট ছিল। এভাবেই আপনারা সবাই আমাদের সাথে থাকুন, আমাদের বাংলার সাথে থাকুন, এনআরবি টেলিভিশনের সাথে থাকুন। শুভরাত্রি সবাইকে আমার পক্ষ থেকে, তাসমিনা খান।